by actor Chad Lindberg. Chad has been in a ton of movies. I mean, seriously, dude, you are like the hardest working man in show business. Films, Fast and the Furious, Last Samurai, Alex Cross, with a ton of them.
Let's see. You have a rather long IMDb resume, I'm telling you.
Well,
you really
you.
do.
I appreciate that. I feel very fortunate that I've been able to work and have one. So thank you.
Yeah, it doesn't stop there. You got TV, you got Weeds, which is a show that I actually like.
Oh, I like Weeds, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Weeds is very funny. NCIS, Supernatural, X-Files. I'm sorry, but that kind of makes you a nerd god right now. And Buffy the Vampires. I mean, actually,
yes.
All these television shows are nerd god status.
I've hit a lot of the nerd shows, which is awesome.
Is that because you yourself are a nerd?
Exactly.
Got it.
You're in good company, my friend.
That's exactly what it is. Actually,
we
Buffy
like
was
nerds.
What's that?
We like nerds, and dude nerds are even better. So there you go.
It's the only way to be, in my opinion.
So, Scott, or Chad, from what I understand is that you're actually fairly new to the field. Is that correct?
Yeah, I've always had an interest. I've had experiences all my life, but it wasn't until I got a hold of Zach and went on the ghost adventures that it really sort of took off from there and exploded and really came into my own and had started investigating and collecting all the toys and all of that fun stuff.
So you actually started and I always have to put air quotes around career because paranormal investigating is, it's like a pseudo career, I suppose. But you actually started your paranormal career with one of the more extreme gung-ho ghost hunters out there.
Yeah.
Hold on, Cheryl, I didn't say it. I'm playing nice. Okay, please, Chad, go.
Yes, with Zach Bagans, and I reached out to him on Twitter because it's my favorite show. Movies and TV for me are a little skewed, so that show just it just brings the awe, and I'm just
fun, yeah,
and I love their style. And I reached out to him on Twitter, and we became friends. And then I met Aaron not too long after that. And, after a year later, they had me to the Linda Vista, which was awesome.
Oh, my gosh. So you started out with the Ghost Adventures crew in the Linda Vista?
Yeah.
Wow,
and you're still alive?
Yeah. No, it was... I had been there a long time ago because they film a lot of movies there.
Sure.
And... I ended up getting scratched. It was gnarly.
That's always a thrill.
The spirit box said my name, and that was kind of the beginning. And then after that, the whole world opened up, and I've been meeting everybody in the field, and here I am talking to you guys.
Well, and really, we are the most important. So just keep that in mind.
Exactly.
And, yeah. So hey, Scott, are you still with us? He must be eating.
Wow.
Okay, well, when Scott gets back on, we had a little, we were telling him about the time that we gravely insulted your friend Zach Bagans unintentionally, and we were going to play that clip for him, so we'll wait till he gets back. And you are with Haunted Orange County. Are you your own biggest fan? Now Chad Lindberg's biggest fan is in the chat room. Is that you, or is that still Scott?
Or who is it?
Well, you see, Scott put himself in the chat room as his own biggest fan, and apparently he's changed it to now he's your biggest fan.
I love Scott.
Oh, so let's talk about Haunted Orange. Well, first of all, let's talk about you got scratched at the Linda Vista with the Ghost Adventures guys. What else happened to you?
God, what happened that night? It started with the whole spirit box. We were walking down the main corridors, and Zach goes, "Who's standing next to me?" And it goes, "Chad." And I flipped out. I thought it was awesome. And then he sent Aaron and I over to the mental ward to do our own little investigating, and that's when crazy things started happening to us. I had asked what happens when you die, and then you hear it go, "Linda Vista," which was awesome. And then, I had gotten scratched in the room, and I actually didn't feel the scratch when it happened. It wasn't 3 days later I felt this huge burning sensation on my back. And I went and looked in the mirror, and sure enough, it was 3 markings on my neck. And I called Zach and sent him a picture, and I'm like, I don't want to jump to conclusions here, but I think I got marked. He's like, yeah, dude, that's exactly what happened. And we had a long conversation about it, and it was a mixture of feeling sort of nauseous and feeling like the biggest badass for like a week and a half. It was a really interesting feeling.
Welcome to Paranormal Investigation, huh?
Yeah, that was sort of the mark. That was the beginning.
So,
yeah.
Chad,
so, hey, I guess Scott is listening, and Chad, I'll just set this up for you because we were telling Scott off the air that the last time Zach was on our show, we accidentally insulted him. There's a guy here locally, I live in Washington State, who wants to be Zach Bagans in the worst way possible.
Right.
And so I made a little commercial about him. Cheryl, you want to play it?
I sure can.
Let's do it.
All right. Here we go.
Bud Light presents Real Man of Genius.
Real Man of Genius.
Today we salute you, Mr. Guy Who Wants His Own Paranormal TV Show.
Mr. Guy wants his own paranormal show.
You wear your beans with pride and your t-shirt 3 sizes too small, even though you have the body of a 98-pound video game nerd. Every location you visit may have a gift shop and thousands of visitors, but somehow you still get possessed by something evil.
You're dragging me straight to hell.
It may look like a bug to the rest of the world, but to you it's a demonic orb, and it wants to eat your soul.
Ah!
So crack open an ice cold Bud Light, Mr. Overly Dramatic. Your acting may not be all that great, but you sure look awesome every time you see yourself in the mirror.
Mr. Guy wants his own paranormal show.
Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
So anyway, we made this lovely ad about this guy locally, and we played it for Zach thinking he would really get a kick out, and he thought we were making fun of him.
Wow.
So I felt so bad.
I thought he was going to kill Karen. I thought he was going to jump through the screen and split her head like a pot. Like
It wasn't that bad, you guys.
So it was meant for the guy in Washington who desperately wants his own show.
Who desperately wants to be Zach Bagans.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, there can be only one, you know? There's only one.
There really can only be one.
Yeah.
So I felt really badly because I felt like, we hurt his feelings, and he hasn't been on the show since, so, but we found it amusing except for the fact that, it was not nice to Zach, apparently.
Well, we're out in Washington, I'm curious, because I'm from Washington.
Oh, well, I live in a little town called Chehalis, but I'm not actually from here. I'm from up in the Seattle area. Where are you from in Washington?
I grew up in Mount Vernon.
You did? I grew up in Bellingham.
Okay, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I grew up in Mount Vernon pretty much my whole life.
So did you see that bridge that fell into the Skagit River on I-5 a few weeks ago then?
I didn't see it. I heard about it, and my mom called me, and I thought somebody had died. I'm like, Mom, what's wrong? And she's like, the bridge has fallen. And I'm like, what? And thank God no one was hurt or died, because, that's just, don't need
that was horrifying, yeah. So you're a Mount Vernon boy,
kind of shook the town up.
Yeah, it certainly did. I know my folks were coming down from Bellingham, and fortunately not that day. So
right.
Anyway, so now that we got off track, so
it happens quite a bit on this show.
It's me.
You said
sorry.
Washington, but I had to.
No, that's cool. You're not the first guest who I've wound up talking to here that's had Washington ties. So, Washington, woo, I bet you don't miss the weather though, huh?
You know what? I love seasons, so I'm all about it. And being in LA and the constant sun, it's nice, don't get me wrong. But after a while, I'm like, man, I need some snow. I need some rain.
Well, go visit your parents. Your parents still live there.
Yeah, exactly.
Your mom, Chad, when are you coming to visit? Soon, Ma.
Actually, in about a week, I'm driving up the coast, and I'm actually going to be stopping and doing an investigation with the Constantinos at the Shanghai tunnels in Portland.
Oh,
very cool.
I have not been there. I've investigated a lot of places in and around the area because, of course, Chehalis is halfway between Seattle and Portland. But the Shanghai tunnels is one that I'd really like to investigate. I hear it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Very cool. So what other places have you investigated that you've decided are pretty nifty?
Goodness. Like I said, after doing, the show and meeting their friends and everybody just kind of like opening, up their world for me, I was I've met Todd Wolf, who with the Wolf Manor.
Yeah.
I've been up there a few times and have had some great things happen there with Scott. Actually, both times. Scott introduced me to Todd, and where else? The Armagosa Hotel recently, or around October. Billy Tolley from the show was having a ghost investigation for Halloween, so I went out there, and that was awesome. Queen Mary, you gotta love the Queen Mary. Where else? Linda Vista, and Shanghai Tunnels. I'm looking forward to. So,
well, very cool. So, how long are you going to be up here in Washington?
I'm going to be up there for about 3 weeks, and then I'm heading off to do a film in North Carolina for a couple months. So
may I suggest a location then?
Yeah, please.
Head out Highway 2 up to Stevens Pass, okay?
Okay.
When you get to Stevens Pass, you're going to need to wait until around the 4th of July because that's when it'll be finally plowed. When you get to Stevens Pass to where the ski area is on Highway 2, there's a little break in the Jersey barrier off to your left. Turn down that and take the road down, all the way down, and there will be a little right turn off the road. It'll take you to the parking lot of a little place called Wellington. Okay. It is a very haunted location. It's the site of the worst avalanche disaster in the history of the United States.
Really?
Yeah, it's a hiking trail. There's a big snow shed there. There's a tunnel. And,
wow.
yeah, it's pretty spectacular.
It's called Wellington?
Wellington, mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to check that out.
Yep.
It's definitely
just head up Highway 2 to the ski area, and if you get all the way to the ski area parking lot, you've gone too far. There's just a little break, and there's a 60-mile-an-hour speed limit sign that goes over the top of the highway where the break in the Jersey barrier is, and that's where it is. It just takes you down the old Cascade Highway, and then there's a little turn off to your right partway down the road that'll take you down into the parking lot at Wellington.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's very cool.
Enjoy.
So, Chad, how exactly did you come to be involved with like Ernie Alonso and Haunted Orange County? Ernie is a friend of the show. He's actually a frequent flyer status right now.
Ernie pops up
how did that
from
come
time to
about?
time.
Yeah, he's like a whack-a-mole.
I actually met Ernie through Scott Grunwald. Scott invited me down to the Heritage Museum investigation. And I came down and did some investigating, and that's when I met Ernie. And we hit it off, and, actually we just went up to the Wolf Manor not too long ago ourselves, and asked me to join their team. And I'm really excited because, I'm really passionate about investigating, and I'm really starting to look to do this as, a side profession, from my acting.
Well, it's definitely, my wife calls it a hobby. Right. For like 22, 23 years now or whatever, however long. And my wife calls it a hobby, but it's like, man, this is not just a hobby. This is like you're trying to answer some of the most amazing, greatest mysteries that mankind has ever known. To me, that's not a hobby.
Well,
that's
things... Totally. Exactly. It's looking for the deeper. It's going out. What am I trying to say? You know what I'm trying to say. It's you go out there.
Asking big questions.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And so, have you, since you say that you've had experiences all your life, so have you ever had a point where you were a disbeliever, or do you think that you've pretty much, from a young age, figured that this stuff was out there?
Yeah, from a young age, I always kind of had a feeling.
So, do you think that has anything surprised you? Because you haven't. How long have you been doing this? Just not terribly long, right?
Chad?
We lost him. Oh, Cheryl, we lost him, I think.
Stupid sexy Skype.
It's Skype.
There we go. Yeah.
It's Skype.
Oh, there he
Yeah.
is! Woohoo! Do you accidentally mute yourself? That's usually what I do.
I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's technical things here, I guess.
It's so hard to have a radio show on Skype, but this is what we do.
That's what we call. That's why we call ourselves the destination truth of paranormal radio.
If it can go wrong, it will. Especially if the Dybbuk box is going to be on that night.
Why did you have to, Karen?
Sorry.
Okay, all right. Chad, please go ahead and proceed
Anything
with
that
your
happens
answer.
from here on out is my fault because I just said that. Go. Proceed
That
with
is,
your answer.
that's the one thing that scares me in this, because the first time we talked about it, my eyes were burning, I got a horrible headache, and I was having nightmares for weeks afterwards. That's never happened before until we started talking.
I've had the Fibic box in my house for weeks.
Ugh.
Anyway, please proceed with your answer to any question that I asked that you feel like you'd like to answer at this point.
Yeah, I've always had a passion for it. I've always seen things, and I feel like I've always been very, very open to it. And I feel like they're attracted to me in a way. You know, and truly when, you know, because I watched a lot of the ghost shows over the years, like Most Haunted, and I watched a little bit of the Ghost Hunters, but then when the Ghost Adventures came along, it kind of changed everything for me, and I just kind of like knew, like, man, that's awesome, and they're doing it right. And you know, I had a growing interest in it, and then when I reached out to them and actually it became a reality, you know, they sort of gave me the tools and showed me how to use them, you know, and how to communicate and broaden your, you know, ghost investigating skills.
You know, Chad, have you ever considered, I mean, since you've been having all of these experiences, you ever considered the fact, you know, maybe you have a psychic ability?
I think a little bit. Yeah, absolutely. I think we all do in a sense. It's just how much we, you know, allow ourselves to be open to it and to those things. But absolutely, yeah.
Right. I absolutely agree with you 100%. I think everybody does too. So is that something that you've been able to use then as you've started investigating and work with?
Yeah, in what way? I don't know exactly. But, like, you know, I guess it's just, I think your body is the best instrument, really, you know, and feeling what's around you, and, you know, something comes up and touches you, or you get those goosebumps, or, you know, just paying attention to how you feel.
Right. You know, I call it the, it's my own personal theory. I call it the holy shit, there's a saber-toothed tiger standing behind me theory. It's, but you know what I mean? I mean, at one time we hunted with predators, large predators,
right.
And if we didn't know what was going on around us, well, we were going to be dinner as well. So we had to, you know, you had to evolve this sense. And I do believe that this is what psychic ability, or at the very least sensitivity and empathy and being empathic is.
Right. Yeah, it gets real. There's that moment when you have some shit that goes down. You're like, man, you know, it gets real.
Well, and again, you didn't exactly start with the mild-mannered paranormal investigation team, you know, or the milquetoast paranormal investigation team. You started with pretty much the most balls to the walls, other than those, you know, I think I've seen one other team that was a little more extreme, but in a very negative way. But, you know, that's like, you started with one of the most balls to the walls team I can think of.
I wouldn't have it any other way. I was just, you know, and literally my sister sat me down 5 years ago. She's like, you got to watch these guys. And I said at that time, one day they're going to have me on their show. And I hadn't done Supernatural. I hadn't had a tie into this world, but I just knew I loved it.
Yeah. So you were, you had a recurring role on Supernatural.
Yeah. I played Ash, who was the mullet, computer techie roadhouse guy, drank a lot of beer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So kind of like a beer drinking geek.
Yeah, but, you know, with some, he was very quirky and fun.
Did you act when you were in school, or how did you come into acting?
Yeah, I did a lot of plays growing up, and especially in high school. You know, I'm not a sports player by any means. You know, started doing plays in high school, and actually thought I might be good at this. I wanted to do it professionally, and started looking at agencies in Seattle. I found one. It was called Kid Biz, and I was like 16 or 17, and I went and auditioned, and they took me right away. And they set me out the next day for a movie called Born to be Wild, which was this big movie coming up to Seattle to film. And I went out, and it was to play a burger boss. And I had two lines, and I went out and auditioned for it, and ended up booking my very first gig. And then from there, it was kind of like step by step. And then I moved to LA when I was 19, and have been very fortunate to work since.
Well, you
Well,
do
and
have-
it's rare to be a regular working actor, isn't it? I mean, that's kind of a 1 in a million thing. Most people never make it that far, do they?
It is rare. It is rare. Especially looking back, I'm like, man, I'm really thankful that it happened for me, because it's a tough business. It is a really, really hard business. But if you love it, I mean, if it's who you are, you have to just stick to it. You know, and there have been hard times for me. I've had to endure a lot of ups and downs, but you just have to stick with it.
Right. Yeah, I personally with me, I don't know if I could actually get through the audition part of it. I've never done any acting whatsoever. I doubt anybody would want to see me do any acting. But just doing the audition, I would imagine that that's amazingly nervous.
It is. I still get nervous, you know, at times. It's a very odd process. You have to go in and basically commit, you know, and give it your all in front of a casting director, a room of people who might be sitting there just cold, stone, looking at you, giving you no reaction whatsoever. And you have to just go in there and go for it and hope it goes well.
So have you ever, who on all the projects you've worked on, who has been the person that you've acted with that you've thought, holy shit, I can't believe I'm in this role with this person?
Gosh, you know, there's a lot of them that just kind of come through, and you just kind of like, you're like, what? You know, like George Clooney was one of them.
Oops, I think we just lost him again.
No, there he is.
Oh, all right. Are you there?
You said George. We heard George Clooney.
Yeah, George Clooney. I had Antonio Banderas. We had a great time filming with Antonio Banderas. I've been really fortunate to work with a lot of cool people. And you sort of like kind of trip out, because a lot of these people are people I grew up watching, you know, or have been in movies that are special to me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I would think that George Clooney would probably, I wouldn't be able to speak. I would be rendered. And you know, I don't get a lot of celebrity awe, you know, because you're people doing a job.
Right.
You know,
but George Clooney might actually render me speechless.
But I'll tell you though, he is actually he's very funny and very warm and wants to make you comfortable. So, you know, it wouldn't be possible. He was very just about making people feel comfortable.
Do you have any shows that you would, I mean, other than Ghost Adventures, which you've already done, any shows that you would really love to guest on?
Actually, I did guest on Sons of Anarchy, which is one of my
Yeah,
favorites.
I saw that. That's so cool.
I had never seen the show, and I got cast, and I filmed my episode. I was like, oh, these guys are cool. And went back and watched the first season, and now I'm a huge fan. Like, I wish I could go back and do it again.
Oh, so you almost didn't know exactly what you were doing as far as what the show was.
I had no idea. I had no clue. I had never seen the show. And then I went back and watched it, and now I'm like, this is probably one of the greatest shows I've ever seen, ever.
Right.
Yeah, it is a good show. Any others other than Sons of Anarchy? Sorry, Rick.
I would have liked to have been on Lost.
But not the season finale, or the series finale, because that was a big disappointment.
It was. I was like, man, really?
I know. But the rest of the show was awesome. And do you have any writers or directors or producers that you'd really like to work with?
Oh, man, just so many. I mean, I'll just say Spielberg, because that's what I mean, everyone wants to work with Steven Spielberg. And, you know, he's made some of the greatest movies of all time, you know, and movies that I grew up watching that were special. So, you know, you hope that that's in the cards.
Yeah.
Okay, Rick, you can ask your question now. I'm not going to say another word.
No, I was gonna comment about you know, the season finale of Lost. It reminds me of when I was a kid watching St. Elsewhere, and it all turned out to just be the imagination of a child with, I believe it was either autistic or Down syndrome. And
What?
I was just gonna. You didn't know that?
No, I never watched St. Elsewhere. Mm-mm.
Spoiler alert! But no, that's all I was going to comment on. Yeah, I mean, you know, my wife and I, we watched every single show of every single season, and then we get to that final episode, and I wanted to break my television.
Yeah.
It made me mad.
Yeah. I was
more
physically
enraging
angry.
than the series finale of Seinfeld.
That's true. Like, how do they? I don't know. How does that work? How does that happen?
I don't know. And one of my absolute favorite series is winding up here this summer, Breaking Bad, and I'm afraid. I'm afraid they're going to make it. And Dexter's winding up. Several of my favorite series are winding up, and I'm afraid they're going to lost me. So fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Oh, so I guess we're adding Ernie to the call.
Oh, nice.
Fantastic.
Do we have to just sit and wait, Cheryl? We could chat amongst ourselves. While we're waiting, she says 1 second. Sorry. This is how professional we are here at Paranormal Underground.
No, I call it casual. I like it that way.
We're cash. Yeah, we like to feel like we're sitting around, just having a cup of coffee or whatever your drink of choice is with someone. We have people sometimes that come on and get a little nervous, and by the time we're done with them, they're fine.
By the time we're done with them, you make it sound like we put them through the ringer.
Well, you do. We're good cop, bad cop. I'm the good cop.
Yeah. Well, no. There have been a couple of shows where it's like it got a little bit heated.
Oh,
Hello?
did we get Ernie? No.
I'm back.
No, actually, Skype went down again.
Oh, stupid Skype.
Can you guys hear
So
me?
we lost Chad. And
Chad, we can
didn't
hear you. I can hear Chad.
Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah, Chad. He was just gone for just a second. I'm trying to get Ernie's number in here.
So
So
Chad
would you agree,
played
Cheryl,
cool.
that I am good cop and Rick is bad cop?
Yes. I see. I have Ernie's Skype, but it's for some reason it's not letting me program his phone number in here. And
Do you already have it programmed in from the last time he popped up?
No, we had him on Skype before. So he wants me to call his number. Number. Yeah.
Oh, what was that bloop?
See, Chad, the thing is like I'm huge on theory, so I'm more of the researcher, and Karen is more the investigator. Although I have been going out on more investigations lately, and there have been a couple of times where somebody says something that is like, I'm like, seriously, dude, are you kidding me? And it's like,
bad cop.
I've actually had people on the show tell us that psychics are not necessary. And I have no problem saying to them, it's like, well, did you come upon that through years of careful research and field investigation? Well, no, I haven't. And I'm like, well, then you need to close your mouth then.
And really, when somebody says that on the show, what I do is I just sit in the corner with the tub of ice cream and cry. Because if they're saying psychics aren't necessary, I'm feeling just negated as a human being.
Well, I think they just don't understand yet. They're just not aware enough.
Yeah, I agree. And, well, I think that also people are so concerned about proving something. And, that's actually one of the things that I've always kind of enjoyed about, I have enjoyed about Ghost Adventures, is that they're not so much about proving as they are about experiencing it in the moment.
That's what I like about the show, too.
Yep. Absolutely. How's it going here, Cheryl?
Well, I have just sent Ernie a message asking if he could call in.
So
we are pros.
Woo.
So what do you have going on at Haunted Orange County? Let's do that while we're waiting for Ernie.
What's that?
What do you have going on at Haunted Orange County right now?
Well, I know he's got some investigations coming up. We have talked about. However, I'm going to be out of town for the.
Oh, that's right. You're going to be here.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to be in Washington and in North Carolina. If you guys know anything, any cool places to hunt in North Carolina.
You want places to haunt or haunted places to
Yes,
visit?
both.
Because places to haunt, I think that there's a little prerequisite to that.
Yeah. I can't really think of anything. I mean, I know that there's a lot of Civil War sites down that way that you may want to just Google it. I can't really. I mean, there's so many places, and like for example, I'm here in Chicago, and we have just a zillion places. So it's like it's hard to come up with just like, hey, this one's really great because we have 50 that are great.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the only reason that I am able to recommend Wellington is because I've actually written 2 books about it. So it's it's kind of my place. So that's how I was able to recommend that to you. I'm looking at Haunted North Carolina now. Let's see. Commercial sites, public sites. Battleship, North Carolina, Fort Fisher, Historic Stagville, or Mordecai
Anything in
Historic.
Charlotte?
Charlotte? Let's see. Haunted. Oh, Ernie is calling in. Haunted Charlotte. You know, here's the thing: is that what I've discovered is it's so cool. We have a world of information at our fingertips on the Google. Oops, not on CBS.
Did you really just say on the Google?
Only as a joke.
Oh, okay, I was going to say, how old are you?
Can you imagine if Founders Hall and Spirit Square?
That one I do recall. Yeah.
And then the Antique Kingdom on Central Avenue.
The Antique Kingdom.
Ernie!
What's up, guys?
Hey,
Oh, there he is.
Wow,
How's
it's
it
been
going?
an ordeal just getting you on the line.
Yeah, I heard you struggling trying to get onto the Skype. You know, it's funny. Ben was over doing his show on my computer, and so I think he was signed in. So I'm not sure if that was part of the problem.
Did you notice now, Rick, that you made fun of me for saying the Google, but Ernie just said the Skype?
Well,
The
that's
Skype. Did I say the Skype?
You did say the Skype. You totally did.
Wow.
We can talk about it on the Facebook, Ernie, because apparently we both are, along those lines.
Great.
So, Chad says that since he is leaving you for several weeks to head up here to Washington, that you have to tell me what you've got coming up with Haunted Orange County.
Yeah, we have a few things coming up. First of all, we're really excited that we were able to add a few quality members to our team. Of course, we have Chad. We have psychic medium AJ Barrera, who was on a program called From Beyond with Romero, who we've had on, together before.
Did we just lose Ernie?
Could you hear me?
There's Ernie.
Hello?
Hello. Yeah, Ernie, I hear you.
We actually lost Karen.
Oh, so we lost Karen.
Thank you, Skype.
Okay, all right.
It's a good night.
Okay, please proceed.
No problem. So we have AJ Barrera. We also have Scott. Of course, we love Scott, and actually met Scott earlier this year. And we really hit it off, and we started doing things together. And even though he lives, up in Fresno, we're down here in Southern California. He's out here a lot, and so he's going to be able to participate in a lot of our events. And of course, Ben Hansen, who you've had on a couple of times. I think you guys actually did a magazine cover for him in February,
Yes.
right? Early in February.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
So we're really excited to have all those guys on board, and we do have a few events I want to kind of pitch really quick. For those of you who are in the Southern California, Orange County area, this Saturday we have our Haunted History Ghost Walks, and basically what we started off with when we started Haunted Orange about 4 years ago. And you can get more information on our website, hauntedoc.com. On Thursday, the 27th, we have the last of our series of lectures on the origins of spirit communication. And next Thursday's talk is going to be Divinations and Spiritism, the Historic Origins of Communicating with From Beyond.
That's kind of cool.
That's
I
very
wish I
cool.
lived down there.
Oh, it's very cool. And the guy that we have presenting these lectures, his name is Charles Spratley, whom he's been on before as well.
Yeah.
I think you had him on FJ.
Yeah.
FJ
Yes.
is good.
Yeah, he was fun.
Yeah.
He was a good speaker.
Yeah, a good guy. And so he's been conducting those lectures for us. And he also recently published a book called Piercing the Veil. It covers all the hauntings in Old Town San Diego. So he's our presenter for those. Saturday, July 13th at 7 p.m., we're going to be investigating the historic Graber Olive House in Ontario. And actually that location was featured on My Ghost Story. And our friends over at Darklands Paranormal kind of run that location there. Actually, we got to investigate that with Chad, I think, back in March. So we had some good experiences there. So we're going to be taking a group there on the 13th. Let's see. We're going to be at StuCon on August the 3rd. It's going to be somewhere in the LA area. Which I guess he's not ready to announce the exact location. so he has a pretty good idea. Saturday, August 17th, we're releasing our downtown Santa Ana historic ghost walk, and Ben Hansen's going to be emceeing that for us, and we got a few surprises that we're going to release at that event. August 23rd to the 25th, we're going to be at the Las Vegas Paracon. That one's hosted by Brian Purdy and the folks over at Elite Paranormal Society, EVPS. And there are still a few tickets available. I know some of the investigations are sold out, but definitely it's going to be a great time. And this is
Ernie, when do you sleep?
Yeah, you're the hardest working man in the paranormal at the moment.
That's a machine.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. August, let's see, I'll say that one. Oh, October 12th, this is the event that I met Chad at. We're going to be going back to Haunted Heritage, which is a cluster of Victorian homes that were moved to a museum-type setting. And it's open to the public as a museum, and you can go in during the day and check out the homes. But what we do is we come back at night with investigation teams, and we go into these homes and we investigate them.
So the haunting went with the buildings, didn't stay in the location where they originally were.
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. And so we got to do that in February, and we're back. Chad's scheduled to be there, Ben Hansen, and we've got a couple of other names that we're not ready to announce yet, but that's going to be October 12th. And what else? All I can say is watch Ghost Adventures on, what's the date on this one? July 27th. There's a special episode that everybody should check out on July 27th. But yeah, I'm really excited to have the new guys on the team, and Chad is an amazing guy. Like I said, we've only known each other, for a little while, but he's very passionate about the paranormal, and we had dinner with some friends at the Magic Castle in Hollywood, and I was kind of joking with him. I said, "Hey, we need to try to break away from the group and go downstairs and do some investigating." And sure enough, he had a spirit box with him. He was ready to go. But yeah, I think he takes that everywhere he goes. And we just seeing him investigate and just his professionalism and his passion for it's awesome. So we're really happy to have him with us, and we're looking forward to a lot of great things the rest of the year here.
Well, you guys have a great group.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having us on again, and I'll let you get
us
back.
Anytime. I said, us anytime.
Anytime.
Oh yeah, but yeah, definitely. I will. I will let you get back to the interview. But I just wanted to say hi and thank you for having us on. And I believe we're doing a little story in August. So.
Okay. Will you do me a favor?
Sure.
Will you pass on to FJ that I read his books after he was on the show?
Oh, great!
I really liked them.
Oh, awesome!
We'll
pass on.
Them. Yeah,
he's actually moving. He's actually moving out of the area. He's going to be moving back to Washington, D.C.
Oh,
yeah. He's from D.C. So he's going to be moving back up there to work on some projects. But he's going to be out here, and it's kind of a bummer because we were going to start a Pasadena tour because he's, of course, he's very versed in all the history and haunting Pasadena. So we had done preliminary walkthroughs for a tour in Pasadena, and now he's business is calling that way, so he's going to be spending a lot of time living in DC, but he's going to be spending a lot of time here in Southern California. So bittersweet, but it's a good move for him, and he's excited about it. So, but I will definitely tell. Look.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much, Ernie.
Yes,
thank you. We'll see you guys. We'll see you, Chad.
Bye, Ernie.
All right, so Chad, I have a question from you from chat.
Yeah.
It's from somebody with the lovely screen name that has been assigned by XAT Chat, and it is Lovey Foof. So there's an awesome name for you. And Lovey Foof would like to know if you think you'll have your own TV show.
Lovey Foof. I hope to, at some point, have a series of something.
What would your series look like if you could write, produce, star in the perfect vehicle for you? What would it be?
Gosh, it would have to be like a show like Lost, or like I gotta go to my favorites. It would have to be like something just special, something that I want to watch every week.
Yeah, something. Just put something out there for us nerds. We would really appreciate that.
Something in that world, because I'm a huge nerd and I want to be a nerd about my own show.
There you go. So when you do that, you need to let us know, because I really need something to watch. Like I say, because Dexter's almost over and Breaking Bad is almost over.
Yes, that's a good one too.
And not a lot of reality TV that I like to watch, so
right.
I need something else. Hey, you could be on The Bachelor. There you go.
Yeah, right. Goodness, my God.
No, thank you. So, do you have? We just have a couple of minutes left. Do you have like a website? I know you have an IMDb, but do you have a website or anything where people can go to learn more about you?
I have my Twitter is usually where you can find me the most. I don't have a Facebook right now, and there is a website that one of my awesome fans, her name is Audrey, she started for me, and it's the Chad Lindberg fan site. You can just type that in. She did an awesome website, so she's kind of taking care of it.
Are you on Twitter? Are you the @Chad Lindberg?
I am.
So okay, because I also see there's Chad Lindberg fans.
Yeah,
Brazil Hearts, Chad Lindberg.
Yeah, just @Chad Lindberg.
Okay, so there you go. That's where people can find you. Do you have any shows that are coming up, or movies or parts that people can look forward to?
Yeah, the movie I'm going to go film in August. It's called Becker's Farm, and it's an adaptation from a book. It's a period movie, and I'm pretty excited about it.
Very cool. Who else is in it with you?
Jeffrey Pierce and Rachel Blanchard, and to be directed by Mark Romick.
Very good. Sounds cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on. And as if you get up to Wellington, you can get in touch with me through Cheryl and let me know what you think.
Awesome. I will do that. Thank you so much, and thank you all for having me on. And
absolutely.
Thanks, Chad.
I love it. So thank you.
Have a great trip up to Washington. Be safe.
I will. Thank you very much.
And enjoy the Shanghai tunnels. I'm
going to. I'm going to tweet a lot of pictures.